Hey everybody, it's Gordon. Welcome to the bench. It is Friday night and we're going to take a quick detour by request. Don't get any ideas. I'm not doing requests. I'm doing this one, but I'm not going to make it a habit. Okay. This is Adam Harvey's fault. He's a new friend. We met online and there's a short story behind it, but the question was, can you make a video on chisel handles? He saw a chisel handle. I happen to have a little side thing going with some chisel handles, so it just works out perfect. Yes, I can do a quick video, but I'm going to tell you, I've not made a ton of these, and I'm not considering myself an expert in this area, but I'm learning like the rest of us. So here's a great example for me to share what I know already. Maybe you can build on it. Maybe you can be inspired and go out and get the equipment that you need and make your own chisel handles, because we know there's plenty of these things around. And what I'm talking about are just common socket chisels. It has no wood, or maybe it was split or cracked or whatever, but this is available. Where would you find something like this? One source would be the Can I Have It website, right? This is the Facebook group that has the vintage tool auction every weekend. And as a matter of fact, you will see this chisel out there this weekend for sale. So don't tell me you don't have any socket chisels to work with or make a handle for. You can buy this one, make your own handle. Here's what I'm doing. I've designed this handle for myself. This is part of an heirloom set. And the geometry was a little bit of trial and error, and then it was just handling other tools, knowing what I like and what I don't like. And I realized you might not have the benefit of doing that. So your first one that you turn, you might want to try pine or something that's easy to turn or that it's inexpensive and readily available until you kind of get your design. But I landed on a final design. I'm going to share those with you. This, again, I did just exactly what I'm preaching right now. I bought this and it's been used. Obviously, it's got a little bit of life left. I love that it's short, and I made the handle fit my hand really well, the way I like to hold my tools. So that's my design for myself. This is number 2 in the set, and this one's different material. This is Cocobolo, but again, I'm not going to be wumping on this with a mallet, so there's no leather cap on it, and it's the same shape and design to fit my thumb, and it's got the same taper on it. It's made for sockets, and I can pop this off and move it to a different chisel if I need to. I'm not planning on it, but that's the idea. So there's similarity in this design. And now I have Cocobolo blanks, and I'm going to continue on with the set. Okay, what started this whole thing tonight was this little guy, and Adam saw this online for sale. I just turned this handle real quick, and I did this out of white ash because it was available in the length that I had for this project. And I'm just doing that to help somebody get started with this tool. This is a Sorby cast steel chisel. It's got a lot of life left in it, and it was for sale with no handle. And I thought, let's put something on it so that it goes a little bit better. How I reached this design very quickly was this. I pictured myself using one hand. If you don't like the rest of this, cut it off, round it off, and you've got what you need. If you want to use 2 hands with this one because it's a monster, you can do that, and I gave you plenty of handle for that. If you want to drive it with a mallet, you can hit up here. You're not going to be close to your hand. And you can dress this down. You got plenty of material there to work with, or, any of the above. Pop it out and make your own if you want to. But this is what started the whole thing. Very easy to do, and that was white ash, and it turned okay. I've got a few blanks here, just to give you an idea. That's an ash blank that will make a nice chisel handle. This is Cocobolo, which is going to turn super, super nice. This is going to be part of the set. How do you get to where you want to be? If you look at some of the different brands that are out there, they all have their different shapes. These are Wood River, and they've got a little bit of a flat on there and a nice handle. The size fits my hand really well, so I do like those. My Master Carver set, of course, is just simple and round. Takes a nice mallet, but I find myself kind of all over these tools, so I like to have a little bit of a thumb on it. The Stanley, these are the modern day version of the Stanley Sweetheart socket chisels. And I think I could pull one of these guys apart. As long as I do it without losing a finger, right? There. So this is really what we're going for. It's that socket fit. It's kind of like a Morse taper. You don't need to use adhesive or whatever you have, but then thump it on the table and set it. And that's how that works. But the thing that, I like these tools, but the handle's so small, it gets lost in my hand. So back to my own design, and how did we, end up where we did? It's because of a little bit of trial and error. So these are also modern day Stanleys. They're very small, but that's a smaller carving tool, and I don't mind that so much. So let's go to the lathe. Okay, before I knock the lathe down and get to turning, I did want to share this with you. If you buy things like this, and even hand planes that come with a little bit of surface rust at no extra charge, the red abrasives are not too aggressive, and you're not hitting it with sandpaper. But I made an arbor out of wood for a couple reasons. One is, if I slip off of this, I like being on wood, not on metal. And that way it's just safer. But you can do wide flat things like this chisel. It does have a little spot of surface rust, and it's turning down. So I'm just gonna take it off this way. Also good for taking off those boogers and whatever glue or stuff that was up front. But it cleans up really nice. A super simple little attachment for the lathe that's not overly aggressive. I don't like hitting this with a belt sander and doing all that. So I stuck our workpiece in, and I went ahead and knocked the edges off. So it's a octagon, and that saves some time. And of course, if you put a square and then you start turning on that, you're knocking those corners off. It's an interrupted cut. Gets a little dangerous, or you get big chips, and we want to be safe at all times. So this is just a little faster, a little safer. And then, of course, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, what if you don't have a lathe? Could you do this? My answer would be, you probably could, but it's going to be very difficult. You're going to have, belt sander. You're going to have to cut it by hand and carve it and shape it. And sure, you could do this without a lathe, but really this is a lathe project in my book. So enough said, let's make some parts. So we need to rough this out. First of all, I want to get to a shape, and I'm gonna turn toward my chuck. And again, I'm not a master turner. Okay, for my tang, this is all I do. I know that it's this long, so we can go that route. Just put a pencil mark on it, and we'll use that as our starting point. And I'm just going to use a parting tool to put a small step. It's kind of a marker. Okay, so now we've got that fit dialed in, where when I twist it, never turn that on when it's like this, but when I twist it, there's no wiggle at all. I can tell that I've got full engagement, and I like where it's sitting. Let's zoom in on that. So I've got just a little bitty gap there, and now we can continue to shape our handle. So if this is the shape that we're gonna use, you gotta remember the socket's here, right? So there's the socket. So we're gonna do a little collar first, I call it. And that's gonna be this step. So we'll go to about here, and then a flare up, and then a thumb groove from there. I want the collar angle to match the taper angle, and I'm just doing that by eye. The next step, after we've got our collar, our little shoulder, is to do, I have a little curl coming up, and we'll just roll that over. And again, I got a lot of material to remove, so we'll use the roughing gouge. Okay, now it's time to turn the butt end. And there's really, for me, there's no easy way to do this. We can go to the belt sander and do it manually, or we can just pop it out and flip it over, which is what I do. So I'm gonna take this guy out, flip him over, and I'm gonna grab on my conical shape, not on my finished part. Now we got a ton of room. Ton of room. Just go light. Take your time. Go slow. Rougher. And there we have it. Our chisel handle is done. I gave it a quick shot of lacquer. It's a spray lacquer, and then I put a paste wax on it. Need another coat or two, and I think this will be ready for years of abuse, and it can get tossed around the bench, and it will be a valuable tool in our arsenal. So Adam, again, thanks for the idea. I hope you found something useful here. Again, I'm not a master turner, and but I like to complete projects like this. So it was fun, and I'm glad to share with you guys. So subscribe, follow along. We will mix it up, and we'll do some more fun stuff real soon. And again, I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.